Relocation to Discrimination by Amber Fellers. Japanese internment camps during World War II were composed from the exposure of the bombing of Pearl Harbor that led to the discrimination of Japanese people and the impact on American society.
February 19th, 1942, an executive order was issued authorizing the Army to round up men, women, and children of Japanese ancestry and take them to these camps. The events as they unfolded obviously suggested that if we were to be members of our society here, then we had to demonstrate and prove to our neighbors that we were good Americans. Today's generation may not agree with us, but at that time we felt that if need be, we must spill some blood to demonstrate this. And so we insisted on giving an opportunity to fight.
December 7th, 1941, Japanese ships attacked the military base of Pearl Harbor in Honolulu, Hawaii. Over 2,400 people were killed by the attack.
Yesterday, December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy. The United States of America was suddenly and deliberately attacked by naval and air forces of the Empire of Japan. The facts of yesterday and today speak for themselves. With confidence in our armed forces, with the unbounding determination of our people, we will gain the inevitable triumph, so help us God. I ask the Congress declare that since the unprovoked and dastardly attack by Japan on Sunday, December 7th, 1941, a state of war has existed between the United States and the Japanese Empire.
The Executive Order 9066 is a United States presidential order signed by President Franklin D. Roosevelt, which authorized for certain areas to be used for military purposes. In the top right-hand corner, we see a photo of Pearl Harbor being attacked, and in the bottom left-hand corner, we see soldiers getting ready for war. After the bombing of Pearl Harbor, all humans of Japanese ancestry were to be relocated to concentration camps. They boarded the train with their families that they could soon be separated from. In their hands, they had only their possessions which they could carry. On the top, there is a button of says, "Hello, I am Chinese," and it was worn by people of Chinese ancestry who didn't want to get taken in by the authorities. The other photo is of a family whose house had been destroyed by graffiti because they were Japanese. Families were separated by the relocation of the Japanese Americans. Houses were destroyed by violent citizens who felt that they were in danger of spies. Many of the younger males would join the United States Army and fight with them. Even after their loyalty was proven, Japanese Americans still faced the trials of discrimination. In these photos, we see the soldiers getting ready for war.
But yet, there were certain assignments that were kept secret for a while. For example, the Lost Battalion, which became a famous battle when a Texas battalion was surrounded by Germans. The Texas Division tried its best to rescue them. They sent 2 regiments up there, and they weren't successful, so they dragged us out from another sector and said, "You go get them." The battle lasted 3 days, and in those 3 days, we suffered 800 casualties. There was another event which happened at about the end of the war. General Patton requested and got our artillery battalion to join his forces in his last drive across Europe. And our artillery battalion was known for its swift movements. They were so far ahead of the rest of the division that they came across this strange place called Dachau. The men in the battalion were told, "You will not talk about this." And it was obvious why it was done that way. I could just see the headlines. Concentration camp liberated by sons of those who are in American concentration camps. You know, it just won't sit right. In the war that I took part in, at least we felt we understood what it was all about. Good versus evil. At least we were taught that. Hitler was a bad man, Tojo was a bad man, and we're going to go out and stop fascism and the Nazis. We don't want this to happen to our children and our sisters and our brothers. And so this was a noble cause. The whole nation considered it that way. My only hope is that we learn something from that. Any experience, no matter how horrible it is, if we learn something from that and not repeat our mistakes, then it was worthwhile.
10 concentration camps were created throughout the western side of the United States. The aftermath of World War II led the country's economy to disaster. This then started the era of the Great Depression. The average unemployment rate for the Great Depression was 15%. This was due to the stock market crash. These are my primary sources, and these are my secondary sources.